Hey everybody, it's Nick from What I'm Watching, and today I'm here to talk to you about a film called Hidden in the Woods. And it was a hell of a movie, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Hidden in the Woods was released in 2012, and it was directed by a guy named Patricio Valadores. He also wrote the film, produced it, did everything pretty much for it. In Chile, there's not much of a genre scene out there, so when he released this movie, it kind of hit everyone like a sucker punch. You know, they weren't expecting it. You know, nothing like this has been coming out. So, Artsploitation Films was quick to snatch it up, and you know, as they've been doing, going around the world looking for cool and innovative movies. Well, they found one here. Now, I gotta say that this film is not going to be for everybody. It's very filled with a lot of sexual deviancy, a lot of sexual abuse, rape, a lot of tough subjects that, you know, I normally don't want to see in a movie. But this was a good film. It premiered in 2012 at the Fantasia Film Fest, where it came to really good reviews, and it actually got such a good reception that the Patricio was able to land a deal, and he's got a U.S. remake, which he's already filmed, that'll be coming out. Which I thought that was interesting, that because usually when the United States remakes a movie from another country, they don't use the same director. This isn't the case. In this case, he actually gets to make his movie again for an American audience. But he said that in this version, there's not, in the United States remake, there's not going to be any cannibalism. Cannibalism is like a huge part of this movie, so it makes me wonder what are they going to do instead. I mean, it's like taking out it's taking out like a quarter of the movie if you take out the cannibalism. So, there's a lot of controversy behind this movie. When it premiered at the London Fright Fest, it got kind of divided the audience. Half the people hated it, half the people loved it, and a lot of people were really offended by this film and just, you know, said it was so horrible, and it really kind of surprised me. It's like London Fright Fest in this day and age says that this movie is too much. Really? Too much? I mean, I guess they've missed a lot of the releases over the last 10 years, you know. I guess, you know, things are a little bit more mild-mannered over there in the UK. I mean, I don't know. But I just thought it was interesting. The director actually makes a cameo in this film. He plays a backpacking rapist who is attacked by one of the characters and ends up being eaten. I thought, what an interesting way to make yourself in your own movie. Play a rapist. Yeah. A real creepy rapist, too. Let's see here. The camera work was handheld, and a lot of people didn't like that. They said the camera work was too shaky, the framing was jagged, but I think it lended to the charm of the film. The film is brutal, and you know, it shows the brutality and the horrible nature of human beings, and I think the jagged camera work kind of added to that, if that makes any sense, you know. Let's see, the DVD that came out came with a nifty little booklet. It's got a review of the film. It's got an interview with the director. The flesh is good. And there's one of the characters, Manuel, right there. It's really cool, and that's what I like about Artsploitation, because these books come with all of their releases. And I think it was really cool. The movie's in Spanish with subtitles, so if you can't watch a subtitled movie, you're shit out of luck. But if you can't watch a subtitled movie, then you really shouldn't be into genre films, because half to all of them are in subtitles, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the really good ones, you know, you see movies from other countries, they're not going to just bow down and cater to us because we speak English, you know, you gotta, you know, put them eyes to use, you know, read a little bit, you know. Yeah, it might be a pain in the ass, but some of the best films are foreign films. Now, this movie is also based on a true story, and the director said that about 70% of what happens in this film is true, and 30% is embellished. So, and this movie was fucking insanely brutal. So I just wonder, I mean, damn, what did they embellish? You know what I'm saying? It had gore, it had cannibalism, it had prostitution, it had rape, it had incest, it had, I mean, it had a lot of messed up shit in this movie. But it was a good film. Give you a little bit of the plot on it. The story follows two sisters, Anna and Annie. I mean, the name's pretty much the same, but just a little different. And basically, these two girls, their dad is this, he holds the drugs for this drug lord named Uncle Costello. Oh, my friendly Uncle Costello. Uncle Costello's not a friendly uncle type. Uncle Costello's a brutal motherfucker that put Pablo Escobar to shame as far as this movie goes, you know? But I gotta say that, so dude's holding the dope. Well, these cops show up. They're like welfare cops, you know, checking on the kids because during the film, spoiler, during the film, the dad, he molested his daughters and he ends up raping them. And the one daughter gives birth to the third character, the main character in the film, Manuel. And Manuel is like a deformed, like inbred kind of animal that even from the time that he's a baby, they feed him raw meat and they keep him in this little shack. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this guy's got no chance. I mean, he's brought up like an animal. So anyway, Department of Welfare comes, or whatever the equivalent over in Chile is, and they show up, and dude's out there cutting logs with his chainsaw, you know, and he's like, hey, get off my property, and they're like, drop the saw. Well, he of course doesn't drop the saw, and he ends up cutting up both the cops with a chainsaw. At this time, the kids flee, you know, the little mutant son and then the two daughters. They take off out into the woods. Dad ends up going to jail, and the dope's missing. So Uncle Costello's quite pissed off about this. So he gets somebody to try to take out the dude, find out where the dope is, and take him out in prison. Dude ends up taking him out. The dad ends up taking him out. I mean, the dad is a horrible character, you know, horribly nasty person. He's hardcore as fuck, too. I mean, he's killing motherfuckers left and right and being brutal as hell about it. So the girls and their brother slash son, however you want to call it, they're all living in the woods, and the one girl has to go into town and prostitute herself so they can eat, because she's eating out of garbage bags and shit. So she starts blowing dudes for money to have food and stuff like that. And meanwhile, these guys are coming, the henchmen for the drug lord Uncle Costello are coming, and they're looking for him. And you know, they show up and they attack the girls, and these girls, these poor girls, they have so much bad shit happen to them. Their dad molests them. One of them has an inbred kid. And then, you know, their dad kills the cop, and then they take off, and one has to be a prostitute, and they're eating garbage, and then finally, you know, they get some food, but it's money from tricking, and basically these guys show up, and then they rape the girls again, and, you know, beat them and torture them and all this shit. Well, they end up turning the tables, and one by one these girls start getting revenge and taking them out. And they don't just like get revenge, just like shoot them and that's it. I mean, they like chew these motherfuckers up. I mean, there's a lot of cannibalism in the movie. The blood and the effects are extremely graphic. I mean, they did a really good job on that. I mean, it looked real. I mean, all the special effects look awesome. It's like that dark blood, you know, no bright colors here. I mean, it's very real, very earthy, you know, just real brutal. I know I've been using that word over and over again, but that's the epitome of this film, is brutal. I mean, it shows the ugliest sides of humanity, and it's an exploitation film and a horror film all wrapped up into one. And the U.S., the remake, I mean, it's made by the same director, but I don't think it's going to hold a candle to this film, unfortunately. If you can't stomach seeing sexual abuse and stuff like that, don't watch this movie, because there's a lot of it in there. And I mean, it was hard to watch, but you know, if you've seen movies like Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave, then I think you'll be able to make it through this one and appreciate what a great film it really is. This movie was, you know, a big surprise, like I said, for the people in Chile, because nobody's making movies over there. And I guess that's about it. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. I do recommend this movie. Like I said, the lead characters are females, and it does show, you know, even though they had to do a whole bunch of horrible shit, it just shows the strength of these females because they did whatever it took to survive. And they really built sympathy for the characters. You really felt for Manuel and his sisters, or sister and mother. You know, I mean, like I said, again, it's complicated as far as that goes, but it's a good movie. I highly recommend it. It's very brutal, very bloody, and very ugly as far as showing, you know, the brutality in life, but boom, there it is, y'all. Hidden in the Woods. Highly recommend it. I give it 4 out of 5. Check it out, y'all. This is Nick at What I'm Watching, and next time we will be talking about, hell, I don't know what we'll be talking about because I got a bunch of movies coming in the mail, so whichever one gets here first, that'll be next. So I thank you guys again, and Beneath the Underground, if you haven't heard of them, it's an awesome group on Facebook. Give them a shout out. Go check them out. It's the best horror and genre movie group out there. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to meet other people that are into the same fucked up movies like you, check them out. This is Nick. See you next time.